9.1, example 1. We're going to identify a divergent series, or convergent. We're just going to determine if a sequence or a series, because we're adding them, is going to converge or diverge. So I have this sequence, 1, -1, 1, -1, and I'm adding them, so it turns into the series 1, -1, +1, -1, +1, -1 for infinity, and I want to know if that go-aheads and converges. So the way we check that is we just start seeing a pattern. So we look at the first term, the sum of the first term, which is just 1, because it's just the first term. The sum of the first two terms is 1 plus -1, and I get 0. Okay, so it looks like I'm going down. The sum of the first three terms is 1 plus -1 plus 1, which is going to give me, we can see the first two terms cancel, and we get 1 again. Okay, so it bounced back up, and then we get the sum of the first four terms, which is 1 plus -1 plus 1 plus -1, and we get 0 again. Okay, I'm still not convinced, so let's try one more. S sub 5. So the first 5 terms we're going to go ahead and add up, and we get 1 again. So it looks like it's bouncing from 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, and it doesn't look like it's going to converge. Let me show you what the sequence looks like if I were to go to, say, 100. So as we can see, I have here my first term be -1. And then if I increase this to my second term, it goes to 1. But -1 plus 1 is 0. Then I go to -1. So -1 plus 0 is -1. And if I keep doing this process, my terms just bounce back and forth. So it doesn't look like my sum will ever converge to something. Right? If I keep going and add more and more terms, so say I do, I don't know, 550 terms, 564, I see the sum is 0, but if I increase that by 1 and go to 573 terms or 75 terms, it will bounce just back and forth. So therefore, we can just directly see that our function will diverge. So what we get is that the sequence of the partial sums is 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, and so on. And since the sequence has no limit, the series has no sum. So since the series does not have a finite sum, we say that this diverges. Okay, on your own, I want you to go ahead and tell me if this sequence and partial sums converges or diverges. So go ahead, pause the video, and try it now. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at it. So if we look at the first partial sum, it's just 1. The second partial sum is 1 plus 1.1, which is 2.1. The first three terms is 1 plus 1.1 plus 1.11, which is going to give me 3.21. If I add up the first four terms, I get 1 plus 1.1 plus 1.11 plus 1.111, which gives me 4.32. And I'm just going to check the fifth term out just to double check it. So you take everything before, and instead of rewriting it, I can just write 4.32 plus the next term. And I get 5.431. And so I can see that these numbers are not starting to get smaller. They're not starting to converge towards anything. Therefore, the series diverges.